It's asking
right for
what
him.
I'm supposed to do.
Just right there on the nose.
Right
You
there.
just drag you
Right
over.
there.
Yeah.
You see that button right there? You press that. You press that button. That's what you do.
Well, it said continue, so I didn't know what to do.
Don't you need to get to the next part? So you want to continue the form, right?
Right, but what if I missed something? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
It'll tell you.
It'll tell me if I didn't
missed
do something. Yeah?
It'll tell you if you missed something or you didn't do something because it won't let you go forward. But
that would mean I made a mistake. That would mean I made a mistake, and I'm not okay with that. That's scary.
Make
Clang,
mistakes.
clang, never made a mistake, buddy. Clang, clang.
Did not make a mistake, thank you.
Perfect. Batting 100.
Yes, no, I said that, and I still stand 10 toes in that.
10 toes.
Most of the medical, they're the outliers, but those are mostly just sadists. I call them, they're the bossy bottoms, because like they have a very specific part where they're like, I'm in charge. This is what I do. But you get them anywhere outside of like their little bubble, which is all of the, medical knowledge that they crammed in there and shoved all of the common sense knowledge out. They're lost. Anything outside of here, they don't know what to do. So
sounds about right.
I've said it. And like, if any of the medical professionals want to fight me, they can. They probably won't, but like
cowards. It's true because we both said it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Listen, these hands are rated E for everyone.
I've always said doctors are cowards.
Yes.
Always said that.
Yeah.
Yep. Their doctors are sadists.
Hey, speaking of doctors.
Oh no.
We lost Eli.
Oh no.
It begins. It's fine.
Wait, what do you mean you lost Eli? I see Eli.
Oh, I lost Eli. Okay.
I can see Eli.
I am the Eli whisperer. I am the only one that can see Eli.
No, I can see Eli.
Okay.
Hold on, I think.
Okay, so me and Rose understand. Okay.
Did I go somewhere?
Not for me.
No, not
It
for me.
happens sometimes. It's fine.
We're the only one who can see the ghost of Eli. It's fine. That's cool.
Can everyone see Eli?
Yes.
Yes.
I can see everybody.
Good. Okay.
Good.
Perfect. All right. Cool. Nobody touch anything. Well, hey, after we talked all that shit about doctors, hi, hello, welcome. If you've never caught us before, we are Live from the Apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that makes actual play content, like streams and podcasts, to raise money for nonprofits and aid organizations. And we are currently raising money for Doctors Without Borders, embarrassingly enough. We have a great deal of respect for the very important and critical work they do, particularly in Gaza at this very critical time. And we're very proud to be able to support that work in some small way by playing these silly little games here on the internet. So we just ask that if you like what you see here, instead of doing the normal twitch.tv things of subscribing or giving us bits or interacting with fake cyber currency in any way, shape, or form, or aspect of your life, for that matter, rarely ends well for people. Maybe just take the $5 or the $6 or whatever a Twitch sub is going for these days and give it to Doctors Without Borders instead. To that end, we have hidden the subscribe button. We have replaced it with a donate button. Seek the subscribe button at your own peril, but I can't speak to what you might find if you go there. You can just hit that, donate to Doctors Without Borders. An alert will play. It'll interrupt whatever's going on in the game. I will hear it and have to refocus, and it'll probably throw me off my game. You might buy the players a few extra moments. But other than that, we can't stop you from subscribing. We can't turn it off. If you have a Prime sub, you can throw it our way if you want to. You got to put it somewhere. Why not put it in us? I regret ever saying that.
Put your sub in us from Quiznos.
Yeah.
You had every opportunity to not.
I thought about it. I was halfway through the sentence, and then I was like, I already said the first half.
You gotta commit.
You set it up, man. You set it up. You gotta knock it down.
Gotta knock it down. Yeah, if you want to do that, it doesn't cost you anything extra. But don't. Honestly, if you do, beloved Dementia 20 Dungeon Master Brennan Lee Mulligan will kill a dog. He will kill one dog for every month you've been subscribed to this channel. It's another bit that I regret starting. But it's a funny alert. It'll play if somebody subscribes. You'll see. But don't subscribe. Donate to Doctors Without Borders instead. On a more serious note, before we get into this, I just want to take a second to be sappy. We have been doing this. Live from the Apocalypse has existed for 3 years, as of March 19th, I believe, was the 3-year anniversary. And one of the first games that was ever streamed on this channel was a little game called Nephilim, which was a gritty near future sci-fi game. It was the first thing that I ever ran on stream. Was one of the first campaigns I ever ran that lasted longer than a year. And yeah, it was very important to me. It was very special. I have a tattoo about that game, and the setting lives rent-free in my head and probably always will. And so for a very long time, I've been thinking, wow, wouldn't it be cool to get back to that, to find some other story to tell in that setting? And this is that story. 2 years later, I think, roughly, but we're doing it. Nephilim Tenebris. This is about to happen. I think with all of that being said, I do just want to give a big shout out and a thank you to everyone who was a part of the original Nephilim game. Della and Rouge and Dan and Tayo and Julia and Raph for exactly one episode. As a terrifying guest star, which was actually the first time Raph was ever on the channel. It was definitely the first time Raph was ever on the channel. Might have been the first time Julie was ever on the channel. I can't remember when Class Reunion started. But anyway, thank you all to those people for making that game possible, and thank you all to everybody that's playing here tonight for making this game possible. I'm very excited to get into it. And with that in mind, I think we'll probably go ahead and get into our introductions. And I considered, Alex, for your sake, doing reverse alphabetical order, but that would mean it's Rose, and this is Rose's first stream. So I'm going to make you go first anyway. I'm so sorry.
I was prepared for this. Hello, I'm Alex. Been living in a literal internet cave for the last few months. I don't go out. I don't talk to people. It's not because I don't love you all. It's because life is terrible. But this is not terrible. I'm very happy to be here, playing Dr. Richard Courtney, the sawbones of the Tenebris.
Amazing. And Eli, that would bring us to you, if that's cool.
Sure. I mean, I'm here. So, hi, my name is Eli. I go by any and all pronouns. I am playing Padlock, the Junker, who also goes by any and all pronouns. And yeah.
Very cool. Mallory.
Hi, I'm Mallory. I use they, she pronouns, and in this game, I am playing Luna Larson, who is the runner playbook, and they also use they, she pronouns.
Q.
Hi, I'm Q, and I personally think we should start a petition and make it Bottoms Without Borders. Tonight, I am
You're done.
playing.
Tune in for episode 2 where we'll meet Q's character.
Where we get a whole new fucking captain.
Whole new captain. Oh, sorry.
We Star Trek
running
the shit out of
it. Tonight I am playing Cassidy Starrunner, the jockey playbook. He, him for both me and the character.
And last but certainly not least, for our cast, first time ever on LFTA. Well, no, that's not technically true. First ongoing game
First
on
full
LFTA.
campaign, yeah.
Yeah. Rose.
Howdy, y'all. My name's Rose. I use they, she pronouns. I will be playing JoJo, who uses the Greaser playbook. The pronouns I forgot were hers, which are she, they. I think I covered it all. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Absolutely. And hello. Hi. My name is Will. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing everyone else tonight. So, with all of that out of the way, with all that being said, bring chat back there. There we go. I think we're going to go ahead and get into our story, which means we need to adjust the tone a little bit. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's not music because I'm afraid of YouTube's copyright laws and rules. But if you watch it on stream, if you catch it live, there is music. So just keep that in mind. Fantastic. What are we going with here? Let's try this. So, no, I'm not feeling that. Yeah, that'll work. So, where we are going to begin is the year 2121. Fairly close in our world's future, but a lot has changed. And if you're new to this, you'll discover that in time. But to begin, this is a time period in our solar system defined by space, truly. In all manner of speaking, there not being enough of it on our home world. There being a vast, infinite expanse of it out beyond the stars. And in a more literal, in a more figurative sense, when we think about space and occupying it, we find ourselves confronted with the realities of who deserves to exist and who makes that decision. And while the space, the literal space that we occupy out here in the empty, beyond Earth, in this case, even beyond Mars, it's not quite so empty as the name that we have given it would suggest. There are objects here, some of them asteroids, chunks of rock, chunks of ice, but also debris. The rotted, decaying husks of ships, long since falling apart, past their prime, damaged beyond repair, crewless. And they float by our perspective just as surely as the rocks and the asteroids do. This is the Stygian Belt, the asteroid belt just beyond Mars in our solar system, so named because in our year, where our story is set, intermingled with the asteroids, there are the corpses of ships that were destroyed and claimed in battle, pulled out by Mars's gravitational field in orbit and deposited here. Named the Stygian Belt because, much like the river that it takes its name from, the Styx, the stories say that it is full of lost souls. And in a way, they're not wrong. Here, among the debris and the rock, there's a place called the Buckle. It is a station, a space station, some would call it. But it's pieced together, built from the corpses of those same ships. What it originally started as, what its base was, no one rightly knows anymore. But it has grown and it has expanded, and it has become a haven for people with nowhere else to go. People who would rather disappear. As such, it's earned a reputation as a place where those who would rather not be found can go to hide. or rather, to feel that they don't have to hide. And as it drifts into our view, incredibly oversized and massive, far beyond the scope of any ship flying today, with maybe one or two exceptions. There is a name emblazoned on one particular piece. The name of the ship, it's worn down, it's impossible to read. As it drifts by, the next panel that was welded on looks to be almost maybe some kind of advertisement painted onto sheet metal. The letters here are peeling and faded, but it's still possible to read. Drink Zone Cola. And more of these patches and husks drift past our view, combined into the whole. The next thing we see, around one end of the buckle, are ships. Ships that are docked with their crews, currently on board the buckle, enjoying some well-deserved R&R. Or maybe ill-deserved, as the case may be. The ships here are as many and as assorted and as different and unique from one another as the people contained within it. There are other parts of the system where the ships are shiny and new and uniform. This is not that place. These ships have been kept afloat by any means necessary. They've been patched with duct tape here, chewing gum there. And as we take in the vast array, we focus in on one in particular. This ship doesn't look like any of the others, although that's not saying much. The ship is a cluster of engines at one end with two flanged parts of its body that curve out to one side, to each side, rather. And then a broad front of the ship that resembles, in a strange way, nothing so much as a broad, flat blade. All of these elements come together to suggest, in the crudest sense, a sword of some kind. But even that has been worn away by the passage of years. New parts have been grafted onto it. New coats of paint, new designs have been scrawled on the sides of it. Whatever it once was, it's been lost to history. In fact, the only thing that remains, perhaps, is the name of the ship. Though even that has been redrawn from whatever color was originally in a almost neon purple. But the design is unchanged. The name is unchanged. There is, in fact, a stylized blade of a sword passing through the word Tenebris. And I think, with all that being said, we're going to enter that ship. And I'm going to ask our crew here, as you came to the buckle looking for work, it's not cheap to keep a ship flying, especially not out here in the belt. Who stayed behind? If anyone. Padlock, okay. And
Jojo.
Jojo, yep.
That tracks.
That does track. That absolutely tracks.
Yeah, I'm not allowed off the ship when we're looking for work.
Not after last time.
Not after last time.
Not after last time. It's okay. I'm not a dealy bits kind of person anyway, so.
I don't know that this place necessarily has got ramps for me as well, so I'm more or less kind of in the back with the engines, kind of bitch anyway.
You know, I was just going to ask, where would we find Jojo?
Oh, JoJo's always in the engines, even when ship's down, ship's cold. Like there's, you gotta listen to the pipes, you gotta listen to everything. So I think we'd see JoJo. She's like got headphones in. Her giant wrench is like tightening some bolts here, and she goes down to her metallic metal legs and she lowers a bolt, and she like, boom, gets a little lower to the ground as she goes and tightens more bolts and keeps adjusting her height to move up and down.
With that description in mind, do you want to tell us what Jojo looks like?
I would love to. Jojo looks like a tough punk from Takatu, so we'll get into, I'm sure, what the Takamagara stations are later, but we'd see Jojo is standing with the Tenebris crew signature jacket. It's cut off in a crop-like form because Jojo has metal legs that were lost in an accident. So they're very much look kind of like rusted pipes that look very similar to the pipes in the engine room. She's got a mohawk, a bunch of tattoos on her neck and chest down. She's got piercing and chains and gears, plugs and things that just bolts that looks like more parts from the ship than actually something that's jewelry made for folks. Yeah. I miss anything there?
That I can think of.
Perfection.
And as you are working on the Tenebris, as you are doing your best to repair the bits that are starting to shake themselves loose, this is a losing battle. You know, you are never going to get this ship to a point where this stops happening. The best you can do is try to keep up with it, but it's kind of calming. It's kind of centering.
It's absolutely meditative for the point, like, this is the time of like job where she can actually go and fix all the shit that broke from the last time. So like she's chewing gum, putting stuff on it, like fusing anything together. But yeah, this is it, like she lives in this room, so she knows all the things that gotta get fixed. So this is kind of nice spring cleaning almost, but a terrible fucking place. Like it is cleaning, it's not working, but man, a little more organized. We'll get it running.
And it is calming, it is centering, it is meditative, which makes it all the more jarring when the security alert starts to blare in the engine room. And as startling as it is, you know it's not a big deal. The ship is old. The ship is busted as hell. It just goes off sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you have to shut it off manually. There's like you have to disconnect the speakers, but it happens. But for a second, maybe because of what day it is, hearing it takes you back 5 years, give or take, to a time when you opened your eyes and the world looked out of sorts. It looked strange and distorted. Things were moving a little too slowly. You lifted your own hand and you could track the movement of it in after images. And it took you a second to get your bearings. It took a little while before you realized that you were in an infirmary, in a hospital bed. And it would have been shortly after that that you heard a voice, a man's voice, say, "That will be the painkillers. Try not to move."
Don't know if I rightly could much, sir. Oh, are we back on tranquility?
Your vision resolves and a little bit more, and you see the man standing to one side of your hospital bed. He's a man of fairly average height and apparently fairly average build. He's definitely older. You'd put him maybe in his early to mid 60s if you had to guess. But there's no sign of him losing any of the snow white hair that is on his head. And he has a very well kept snow white beard to match it. Though no mustache, his top lip is perfectly clean shaven. His face is creased with the lines and the wrinkles of old age, but his eyes are still sharp and an icy blue color that almost makes the room colder around you. And you know that the only names you've ever been instructed to call this man by are Sir and Headmaster.
I've never been much for masters, so I just call him sir.
Yeah, that's fine. He gave you an option. How do you feel?
Like I got all the fun painkillers running through me, sir. Coming to. She wiggles her fingers a little bit and tries to like get in motion. And is like, okay, cool. Right arm good, left arm good. Goes to wiggle her toes and doesn't feel them. I got. I remember the ship. I remember the damn klaxon alarm. And I remember getting it to stop. And did anyone make it out?
Your classmate saved your life. And in a way, I suppose, you also saved his. Richard stopped you from dying, and you were able to deactivate the security systems.
Well, I don't love the idea of owing him a favor. I guess I should thank him at least. But we had a team go in, right? Couldn't have just been me and Dr. Dick.
Your classmate survived.
Yeah, I think Joe just kind of leans back in her chair a little bit, just shrinks down a little bit. Sir, permission to speak freely?
I trust you to use your best judgment.
Well, you've had worse calls. What the fuck were we doing in there? What the hell was that shit?
It is a relic.
Sure.
Some artifact of war with an unknown origin and purpose. In point of fact, that was what you were there to discover. But given your circumstances, myself and the rest of the faculty are willing to overlook your failure.
Yeah. Mighty kind of you. So what's in it for me now, then?
I will be clear with you, out of respect for your intelligence, and out of the hope that this will make you stronger. You have not only lost your limbs, you have suffered significant nerve damage. The prosthetics are out of the question. Cybernetic, anyway.
No, what do you mean? It was just, Dickie, I just pulled the pipes. I said, make do, stop the bleed, just get it. And you mean tell me you can't just pop me some new legs? Like, come on.
You were shot through the spine, Miss Broxson.
I think she just kind of lets that hang there a little bit and go, then no, you had to fit me up with something, and she pulls the sheet from under and then looks and sees the Tenebris pipes in the legs and goes, oh, fuck, Bones. All right. And she kind of wiggles some and goes, I still got this. These will work. Dickie did good. Dickie did good. I'm alive. That's what matters. Right?
In point of fact, Miss Broxson, what matters is what you do next. Why do you believe the Yelchin Foundation exists?
Is this one of those questions I can answer freely again or use my best judgment for?
You should always use your best judgment.
I mean, wasn't the whole Yelchin Foundation put here to nurture the best and brightest of Tranquility's future, get all the best, whether they're from Taka, Earth, Mars, the Belt, bring them all together and make sure we all continue to use our gifts to serve the betterment of mankind. Something like that.
Your definition is adequate, if somewhat succinct. We bring together the most gifted minds across the entire system to secure the future. Not the future of Tranquility or the Earth Coalition or the Kamagahara or anything else, but humanity itself, that it may endure, that there might be a brighter tomorrow.
You know, in my experience, endurance and brightness don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive. Rats get along just fine. Scrappers too.
If this is the mediocre life that you wish for yourself, why even leave the vents?
Oh.
You were raw iron when we lifted you from the vents of the Kamagahara 2 and brought you here to forge you and temper you so that you could reach your highest potential.
Yeah, and I'm real grateful that you did. Why'd I leave Taka? Well, surely you're a learned man. You know what they do to Taka stations. You float in between just right outside of Earth's gravity long enough. You understand what type of precarious situation you're in. You have to be safe. You gave me a way out. And I am grateful for that. And let me just say, I'm not trying to throw any services that you may offer away. I'm just here to say it's not about for reaching for something better. It's about survival and playing the cards that you got. Right now, I just have to shuffle my deck. Anything else, sir?
And he doesn't respond. He turns and he starts to leave, but he will pause and he will turn back halfway and look over his shoulder at you and say, "Just one correction. I did not save you. I brought you here and threw you into the fire. What you make of yourself from this point forward, that is what might save you." And then he is through the door before you can say anything else.
Yeah, I think she just slumps down, and if it's 5 years ago, I think there's two people that she would call immediately. That's either going to be Luna or Padlock.
I think we...
Oh, yeah, I was going to say assuming that Cass is out, but yeah, Padlock.
I think we see you pull out your handheld, or rather your handheld is sort of sitting there on the table next to your hospital bed. But we don't get to see what Jojo does with it because the alarm kind of becomes overbearing again. Actually, no. What I'm going to say is that you are pulled back because the klaxon stops blaring. Since there is one other person on the ship who probably has the knowledge and the ability to deactivate that when necessary. And then I'm going to ask you, Eli, where would Padlock be?
I think as soon as every single person who was leaving ship left, Padlock has been running through the entire ship, rummaging through things, grabbing whatever bits are being left around. And I think before the alarm starts going off, they're in like Dr. Dick's room because there was a laser cutter that he told me specifically I wasn't allowed to use, but I really need it for what I'm doing. And he's not around right now, so so I'm like peeking over like a desk or something, and all you get to see is like Padlock's like two eyes, and they're like shifting back and like forward, and one eye is distinguishably a deep dark purple, while the other one is a washed out like gray blue. And that eye has like this giant jagged like cut that's from like the top of their forehead all the way across the eyeball. um Padlock is genuinely like just a greasy looking individual. They've got like grease and stuff everywhere. It's like outlined by like where their goggles are. Um and they're genuinely like a very like scrawny, lanky kind of individual, very like long armed legged kind of stuff. And he finally finds the cutter on Dick's desk, and he kind of like uses two fingers and kind of like just walks both fingers over to her, and he like grabs it. And that's probably when the alarm goes off, and then Padlock tries to like looks around as if they got like caught or in trouble, realize it was just the general alarm going off. um they know that Jojo's on the ship, so they just believe that Jojo's going to handle it. But after a few moments, when it doesn't get handled, then Padlock's like, and then starts going there, and then like heads towards the engine room wherever they know the alarm is, but they also know that JoJo's there too. So like there's a moment where they're like they start walking towards her, then they stop, and then they like turn away, and then they go back, and they turn away, and then we're like, and the alarm's still going off, and then they're just like and then they finally just like go there.
I will say that there are multiple consoles in the ship. Not all of them work because of the state of the ship, but you know the ones that do. I would say maybe like a third of them are still functional, and you can make your way to one of them, probably also towards the back of the ship, but not in the engine room necessarily.
Okay.
So
yeah, they remember that at the last second, and we're like, and then like they do like a 180, and then go down another corridor to that other console, and puts both hands on the console and starts reading things and trying to like mouth what they remember the steps of how to disable this, and starts running through that.
yeah, and I think you know that you have to like fully pull the front panel of this off and start like disconnecting and then reconnecting wires in specific ways. Like you're working with hardware. This is not there's no software solution to this. The ship is not yeah.
Pull the laser cutter. Just
yep.
Start just cut it into it.
And it all kind of clicks into place for you. I think the way that it often does when you get the panel off and you're looking at the wires, it all kind of comes together and makes sense in a way where you can almost see like the way things need to be to do what you want them to do. And
I make that gesture like I'm about to like put surgical gloves in, and I just kind of stick my hands in there and just start rummaging through things until I find the connectors.
And in the process of doing that, you do finally find the right connectors, and you finish bridging the connections and cutting the connections that you need to. But by the end of it, you start to pull away from the panel, and you realize that as lost on your work as you've been, you didn't notice that some of the loose wires had wrapped around your wrist. You got entangled in them, and it tugs on your arm as you start to turn away. And you're not sure why. Maybe because of what day it is. But that sensation pulls you back to a very specific moment in your life, a pivotal moment in your life, when you were sitting in an overly bright room, probably the brightest room you'd ever been in at that point in your life, at a metal table. And that same sort of tugging sensation at your wrist, except when you look down, it's handcuffs, not wires. You're alone in this room for now, but then the door opens and a man steps in. And he has immaculate snow white hair and a very well-kept snow white beard. And he's dressed very richly. And he has piercing blue, ice-cold eyes.
He's really necessary. I'm like tugging at it. Like hard to like sit up when you're like just like pulling it. I'm just like not focused on this person, more focused on the fact that I'm very uncomfortable with this wristband on me because it's very constricting.
My patience is not infinite.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't imagine anybody's patience is infinite when you really think about it, because like, like tolerance is one of those things that, is finite in measurement depending on the person. For me, I got a lot of tolerance, but yeah. And it should like eventually taper off as as it gets really.
I am not so blessed.
We could work on
this has been a very long journey for me on what I would consider to be tall tales. I am told that you were apprehended with a What was the word that they used? Felonious amount of explosives.
I don't know what felonious means. Truthfully.
It means that if you do not give me the answers that I am hoping to hear, you will go away for a very long time.
I will keep that definition in mind. Questions?
You have questions?
Do you have questions?
I asked you a question.
Oh, well, I did have weapons, yes.
Where did you
Polonius
get
is
them?
it's kind of hard to really explain.
Did you build them?
I put one thing and another thing together, and they just seem to kind of fit together. And by the end of it, yeah, sometimes they go a little boomy, but trial error progress. If you're asking me if I built it, probably yes.
He regards you for a moment and then reaches under his arm and pulls out a rolled up piece of fabric, it looks like. And he approaches the table and unrolls it. And laid out within, you see garbage, basically. There's like a spring here, a Zippo lighter here, a few other pieces of scrap metal and plastic. And he says, I would like you to build a gun.
I don't even I haven't even been like my attention once he rolled out all of the parts. I stopped paying attention to him, and I've just been looking at each individual part, and I've just been kind of murmuring to myself about what things could go where. And I'm like moving pieces around with the one free hand I have, and I'm just starting to kind of just rearrange them into like general places where I want them to be. Um, as I slowly start to do that, and then I like, look up at him, and it's like, this would be a little bit easier if I could do this with both hands. I can't connect things with one hand because I gotta like bring this here. Could you help a person out? No, no.
He meets your eyes, but he doesn't say anything or move to help you.
Okay. I just get back to it, and I try to assemble a gun from all of these pieces.
And I think for you, it's fairly simple because, like you said, as soon as the pieces came into place, came into view, you started thinking about the ways that they would connect and the ways that they would go together. And it seemed very straightforward to you. When you're done, he sits back and he looks at you. And he says, do you know what the Yelchin Foundation is?
Can't say I have. Is it like a fancy like place? Institution? Sounds like it.
It is one of the oldest institutions on tranquility. You know what that is.
Heard of tranquility. I don't think I've ever like met the marks to get to tranquility.
Few do.
Think.
In fact, one of the only ways to be granted citizenship is to graduate from the Yelchin Foundation. We pull together the most brilliant minds, the most capable, to shape the future. It is a place of learning And mathematics? Do you like mathematics?
I like numbers. Yeah, they kind of like blur through things. I'm more of a hands-on kind of person, but yeah, I could number.
I enjoy mathematics, but not unknown variables, which is exactly what you are.
Well, that doesn't sound fun. How do you know what's possible if you don't, and prepare for the that the variable that you were saying?
I would like to trust that you are of sound mind, as gifted as you are, that we could put your talents to good use and shape them. So to that end, and he will reach over with something in his hand, something you can't quite see, that he swipes across the handcuff where it connects to your wrist. And with a mechanical whir, it pops open. And he sort of looks at you, looks down at the table, and looks at the door, and says, "You have built a gun. I am unarmed. If you wanted to, you could pick that up and kill me and try your chances out there."
It's untested though. I'm not sure how much amps I put behind it. So if I did actually fire it, I could either, yeah, blow you up, but I could blow up me up too. And I'm not good when you have to like reconstruct. So I rather take my chances with some type of common variable. So, and like I just put the gun, I guess I've been like kind of holding it. I just kind of put it down.
He nods approvingly, though there's no hint of a smile or any approval on his face. It's really just the gesture. He says, "Then I offer you the keys to the castle. A life that could take you anywhere, so long as you build it the way you want to.
Okay.
Or you could go to prison."
Ah, I don't think I'd do well in prison. I don't think.
Then welcome
I like
to the Yelchin Foundation.
Cool. Who are you, by the way? I feel like we've been talking forever and I didn't even ask for your name.
You will call me from this moment forward either headmaster or sir.
All right. Aye, aye, sir. Point me in the way.
And he doesn't say to follow him. He doesn't indicate to follow him, but he stands up and he walks to the door. He opens it and he walks through it. And you are uncuffed and free to follow him.
Yeah. I'll give it a second and then I'll walk out right behind him.
As the door shuts, you are jerked out of your reverie by the whoosh of the door to the engine room opening. Jojo is standing there.
I think Jojo sees Pad like the door walks in right as the klaxon goes and goes, "Oh shit, hey, thanks for that."
Yeah. Or, I start trying to untangle my hand from that. I put like my foot next to the coffee jar.
Pad, come on. I grab one of Dr. Dick's scalpels or whatever like is nearby that's definitely from Dickie's. Like I grab and I could just cut really quick and just I like try to detangle them while like not touching them. So it's like very like awkward as we're like trying to detangle
like,
each other.
Like a little to the left. Yeah,
Right. Okay. I don't want to cut you, Pad. Like, is it?
I want my fingers though. Here.
No, I need your fingers. Like that's very. Okay, 3,
Cut
2,
it, do it.
1. Okay, and they cut it.
And Pad, you fall free, kind of with the force. But as you both have a moment to sit there and catch your breath, still kind of shaking off the after effects of your memories, we're actually going to leave the Tenebris and venture out into the buckle itself, which leads me to ask, obviously, your captain has to take this meeting, has to be present for this meeting. Is anyone with him? Luna. So,
as both second in command and an expert in illegal shit, I feel obligated to be there.
that makes a lot of sense to me. So then as a follow-up, I would ask, where is Dr. Richard Courtney?
Dickie has gone walkabout.
Okay.
There is a specific cafe in the Buckle that he's been to on a stop or two. And they make the most palatable coffee you can get out here. And that's a thing he's been looking forward to on this particular shore leave.
Okay.
So I think he's seated in a sort of rundown little cafe with a barista and no one else, just sort of alone with his mug and his thoughts.
Yeah, the interior of the Buckle looks much like you would probably expect a piecemeal space station to look like. In fact, I think probably this cafe I'm picturing is the entrance to it is just like the front end of a like shipping container that has been welded on, and then the cafe, such as it is just within that shipping container, complete with the doors that can be closed when the cafe is no longer open. But I will say that I think this shipping container in particular just happened to sort of naturally be a dark green color. And as such, I think the cafe has kind of taken that into consideration. The proprietor has painted trees on the inside of it, in a bid to make it look sort of foresty and like welcoming. And I think that that's largely been successful between the sort of soft diffused lights that they've attached overhead and the paintings, which are shockingly good, and the coffee, which is decent. There's
something in the water on the Buckle, though. It's better than shipped recycled water, but it still adds a certain something to the coffee, so it's never quite right. It's not tranquility water.
Oh, no, it's not.
So I think every time he has the first sip, there's just this little grimace of like, it's good, but it's just not right.
Absolutely. And you take that first sip, seated alone in that little tucked away foresty cafe, and you reflect on how much it does not taste like the coffee that you were able to get on Tranquility because of the water, because of the filtration, and how long it's been since the last time you tasted that. It makes the mind wander. Maybe because of what day it is, but that first sip pulls you back to a memory of a particular coffee, we'll say date, that you experienced, although it was not of a romantic nature by any means. In fact, it was a personal invitation on the part of the headmaster of the Yelchin Foundation himself to visit him in his office shortly after the incident where you were able to save your teammates, your classmates' life, Jojo Broxson. And you suddenly find yourself transported back to the headmaster's office at the Yelchin Foundation, where the walls are this pristine marble. Everything is very grand and very white, and at the same time kind of utilitarian as well, kind of sparse. Everything is very nice, but nothing is garish, nothing is over the top, everything is fairly understated. And similarly, his desk, even though it's made out of this rich mahogany wood, it's not a large desk. It's basically exactly the size that he would need it to be, and it really only holds the things that he would need it to hold. Like one, I think it's embedded with the projector that calls up the holographic keyboard that he can use to manipulate the internal computer if he needs to access any of the records or anything like that. And there are a few books on a single shelf, but nothing else. And in this particular moment, there is a mug of coffee in front of you and a mug of coffee in front of him.
I think Dickie has been sitting very uncomfortably this whole time. The headmaster is someone that he respects a great deal and is a little terrified of. It's got that reputation. So there's a lot of attempting to remain still, but quite a bit of nervous fidgeting. There's a lot of picking up of the coffee and not actually remembering to drink it before putting it back down. And mostly just waiting to be spoken to, because that's what we've been told, is you speak when spoken to. So he's sitting, doing his best to not sweat through his shirt or do something wrong, because you could do something wrong.
You could do something wrong,
and Mother would be very upset if that happened. So we're not going to do anything to make sure that happens. So.
She sure would be.
Mm-hmm.
And almost as if he can read your mind in a very unsettling way, he says, "I have spoken to your mother."
Oh, how, what did she say?
She was concerned for you after your incident.
Oh, well, I did call her. Nothing's wrong. Fit as a fiddle. I think that's the phrase, right?
I assured her that this was the case.
Oh, good.
That you acquitted yourself well.
Oh, Good. She maybe you spoke to her after because she didn't sound that thrilled or proud, but maybe you're I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
I don't imagine that she would. I told her your actions were heroic.
Just did what I could with what was on hand. That's what doctors do, right? Is Joe okay?
She will recover.
Fully?
Physically.
That's good. Should probably check in. I don't know.
Richard, do you understand what it is that I mean when I say that your actions were heroic?
My father would say that they were stupid. Heroes get killed.
Do you think that you are here to learn how to be a hero?
No, I'm here to learn how to save lives, patch people up, get them back to the where they're supposed to be. It's not heroic, that's just doing your job.
Heroes, by their very nature, separate themselves from the rest of the world. They stand alone. And you are here to learn to be a part of something much greater.
Yes, that's what I had thought. The Foundation and its mission, its mandate for humanity.
For humanity. Which means that all of us here at the Yelchin Foundation and beyond are defined by our value. You and Miss Broxson, on the surface, are classmates. You are peers. Here at the Yelchin Foundation, you are equals. You possess equal value to this institution. But you are also the child of a very wealthy and influential family.
It's not something we're supposed to talk about, I thought. Doesn't mean anything.
During your time here, it does not. But in questions of life or death, in those moments where we have to make difficult decisions, all we can turn to is the sum of our value. Do you understand what it is I am saying?
You think that I shouldn't have risked myself? That being a hero, heroic action is... I did a bad thing? Jojo was going to die. You don't just use value to determine who lives and who dies. You save the person who's in front of you. Right? No?
You have picked an interesting time to learn how to explore a problem.
Well, I'm always ready and happy to learn, sir.
That is value that you have always brought to this foundation since the first day that you arrived.
Thank you, sir.
But there is intelligence present in everyone here on Tranquility. We are a world, a society of learning. A utopia, they say. Everybody receives the same education. Everyone is equal. And if that is true, what separates the people that we bring here? Can you tell me?
He sort of shifts uncomfortably again. We are all exceptional. There is specific talents we each have. There are specific talents we each have that the Foundation sees, and it is the genius of the Foundation to determine that genius in each of us. We're special. And he just sort of like lowers his head as he says that.
I'm going to speak plainly to you out of respect, and I hope that it makes you a stronger person for it. You are not special. You are not a genius. Had you been born to any other family, you would not be here. You are intelligent, and you are capable. You are a talented surgeon. But you lack imagination. True genius stems from improvisation. So with that understanding, during the rest of your time here, I would ask you perhaps not to waste your time pondering these questions of what to do if faced with another life or death situation, of what the right thing to do is. Moving forward, you should simply do as you're told.
I appreciate the advice and your candor, Headmaster. I will do just that. Is there anything else you needed of me, sir?
No, that will be all.
Thank you for your time and the coffee. And he gets up very stiffly and tries to do the normal walk out, but as soon as his back is turned and he gets to the door, it's like there is a very fast step, and he's going to find a very dark corner of tranquility, which probably doesn't exist, but he will find the darkest place he can and just sort of collapse down onto the floor and be in his feels until he sees someone, and then he will be normal.
Before that happens, before you can quickly exit the room, he will just say one last thing, which is, Richard.
Yes, sir.
I would advise you to be mindful of the company that you keep.
That's good advice. That's what Mother says too.
She is a very smart woman.
A genius.
Indeed.
Thank you, sir.
He does not stop you as you leave the room that time.
That is out of pocket, Will. That is out of pocket.
What are you talking about?
Just gonna obliterate that twink in front of everybody like that.
Listen,
You'll love to see it. You'll
I'll
love
get to
to
you.
see it.
wait your turn.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm sorry.
And the iron tang with the bitter aftertaste of the Bucko coffee pulls you out of that very awful memory. And I think you become aware that someone else is standing next to the table where you are sitting.
I look over.
And you see the owner of the cafe, who you are familiar with. I think you've been friendly. You come to the Buckle often enough that you at least know each other, and they definitely know your order. But you'd estimate that they are maybe roughly twice your age. And I'm realizing now, I don't think we ever actually described what Richard looks like. Dickie looks like.
Yes. So Dickie is smaller. He's not an imposing individual. Maybe 5'5", kind of scrawny, just a little guy. Normally, he's very neat. Got his lab coat and a nice set of clothes, or as nice as he can keep. Right now, he's dressed in his civvies because Cassidy keeps yelling at him to maintain a low profile or to not walk around like he's looking like a rich doctor. So he's blending right now. He's got like a Scabber shirt on, which he's sort of distressed himself. Kind of tousled ginger hair, glasses, very pointy face. And that's Richard.
Very cool. And in contrast, I think the cafe owner is, you'd estimate, maybe about twice your age, possibly about the age of your mother, maybe. And she, because this is a femme presenting individual, is dressed in a shirt that you'd guess is meant to be almost like evoking a uniform for this, because it's just sort of a green like crop top that has some trees painted on it that match the ones that have been painted on the walls. Very functional, like black cargo pants tucked into, very functional black boots, very much the dress of somebody who spends a lot of their time out here in space, and specifically in the Buckle. What they did before that, you don't know, but they have dark hair with like an undercut on one side that's starting to gray, and a very like tired looking but pleasant face. Someone who has clearly seen a lot of life, and also some sort of like a fair number of fading tattoos. And they will kind of like look at, like, meet your gaze, and clearly in a cadence that says they are repeating a question, say, are you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. I accidentally put salt in this. Could you bring me another, please?
Of course. More than happy to.
Thank you. I'm very sorry.
She pauses for a second and then says, before she turns away, says, you just let me know if you need anything else.
I will. Thank you.
And she'll go get you another cup of coffee, and we'll sort of pull back out of this treehouse coffee shop on the Buckle to go in search of our 2 remaining crew members. But before we do that, we're going to take a little break. It's just about time. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We've just got a couple more friends to meet, so stick around.
Let's get your completely improvised line.
Yeah, that's part of the conversation we're already having. Look, all I'm saying is that he made some good points. You have to admit it.
Yeah.
Did he?
I would love to hear him more near the airlock whenever he wants to hang
Right.
out.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. Just gonna shoot
Yeah.
him. I just want to talk to him.
Look.
It raises blood pressure.
Oh,
Probably has very normal blood pressure. There's probably a lot of very normal things about him.
Yes, serum tranquility.
The perfect heartbeat.
Free healthcare.
Funny.
So it is utopia after all. And speaking of, let's go back to the buckle, shall we? Where we've left the coffee shop behind.
Yeah, just to fucking grip it and rip it, baby. Slop that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
Thank you so much for your donation to
Thank
Doctors
you.
Without Borders.
Oh, thank you.
I really, really appreciate
Whoa.
it. Thank you so much.
And we're above 1,000 now.
We are.
Let's
We broke
go.
1,000.
Hey!
We are officially halfway to our goal for Doctors Without Borders. So thank you so much. That's amazing.
Wow.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. Finally, someone says good job, Will, instead of just threats.
Because you donated, we'll allow it. But
I think you're muted. Q, I can't hear you.
I sure am. I sure was. I said, you said good job, Will, so it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. I did do a good job. So
Just go ahead and pat yourself on the back real quick.
Yep.
can't reach. My arms are too big.
Oh.
Moving on.
It's the 225, everybody.
No.
It's the
Yeah,
225.
Mother's very proud.
So, where do we find, I assume together, Luna and Cassidy?
Yeah. I think we are on the way,
Right.
certainly, to the meeting place. Cassidy has his shades on, not for any particular reason. He has probably a canteen or some water holding receptacle, and he is drinking from it.
So, yeah, I think at that point, it's a great chance for us to get to know what Cassidy looks like.
Great. All right. So the outfit today. He's going out on business. So he also has his, Tenebris crew regalia on. It is a jacket, but the sleeves are cut off. It is also cropped because fuck it, we ball. Under it is a mesh shirt that just hit right above, or right at the navel, and he's got some jeans that they fit well. Got a little bit of the flare on the bottom, and he's got on some very nice black cowboy boots. His locks are pulled back and tied so that they stay in place. He's not wearing the cowboy hat today because the hair was being unruly. So you've got the couple of the strands in front that are dyed purple. The rest are a natural color. And the rest of it is just exposed skin. which is all covered in tattoos. Think pretty much up to the neck. It's a bunch of different styles of tattoos, like different areas, different artists. But there is a lot of the common theme, which is like star maps and charts and everything all around.
Love that. It's so vivid. I can almost see you, Space Cowboy.
Hate it.
Yeah, me too. Truly awful. I'm a monster. And yeah, you are making a beeline. Luna is with you, but at this exact moment that we are joining you, you have pretty much reached your initial destination here on the buckle, which is not actually the meeting with your prospective client. First, you have to get the information about your prospective client. This is a process that you are very familiar with, but it's always a little bit, it's annoying for sure, that you can't just be given the details beforehand, except that you would be aware that data and information like this is precious. Privacy is important, and there is unfortunately just too much of a chance of something like that being intercepted if it's just being broadcast out to a ship that is floating out there in the empty. So one of the things that the buckle provides are secure means of communication, encrypted channels. And the means by which you are able to access those are what are colloquially and kind of tongue-in-cheekly referred to as phone booths. They are these sort of very small, dark, isolated rooms that give you that highly encrypted and secure connection outwards. So you know that like your data and everything that you are receiving and sending is secure, and there is little to no chance that it could be intercepted. And yeah, Cassidy, it would fall on you to follow up with your connection in question. So the booth awaits you.
And into the booth I go.
Into the booth you go. And this part sucks, because for a second it is pitch black in the room. Sorry, it is pitch black in the phone booth that you are standing in, as you kind of shut the as the door slides shut behind you. And it's never fun, but for some reason right now, maybe because of what day it is, that experience pulls you back. Being in absolute complete darkness like that pulls you back to a very specific time when you were similarly plunged into darkness, and then you don't know how much time passed. Days or weeks before that door opened a second time. And standing there, backlit, the unmistakable form of your headmaster. So, how have you found your contemplation?
Centering.
Are you ready to comply?
Depends on what you mean.
Are you ready to resume your studies as a productive and amenable student of this institution?
I've been nothing but productive, Chief. Just got one of your star pupils a shining grade.
Doesn't say anything in response to that. And I think you know from your many interactions with him, this is him giving you the opportunity to say more if you want to.
Okay.
He's not one to ask questions, but he will give you the
Right.
space to.
Right. The presentation before my incident, that information, that data, that research was mine. And even though I brought it up to the professor, I was ignored, told that I was trying to make things up to cover my own inadequacies. So I've been productive. Amenable? Probably not, Coach.
Mr. Lida, where is it that you come from?
Do you not know?
I am going to shut this door. Your impertinence has assured that. But the length of time for which it will stay shut very much depends on how the rest of this conversation goes. Where are you from?
I'm from the mining colonies on Jupiter, Captain.
And is life fair in the mining colonies of Jupiter, Mr. Lida?
Absolutely not.
Then this institution would be doing you a disservice by pretending that anything other than that could ever be true.
You are quite correct. This was one of many valuable lessons I have had here at the Foundation. But I will say that I also taught my colleague a very important lesson.
What it feels like to have a broken nose?
There are consequences for your actions.
You put it so succinctly.
I think it's efficient. Get to the point.
But your premise is flawed. Not everybody responds to consequences the same way. Some people are wired differently in such a way that experiencing consequences for their actions, punishment, does nothing but make them more obstinate. You are such a person, Mr. Lida.
What? What? No. Absolutely not. I took my solitary confinement with
Contemplation.
grace. Solitary confinement. Isolation. I'm in a pitch black room.
Contemplation.
Whatever you say, Your Honor.
This is no longer a consequence for you, Mr. Lida. Not for my part. You are brilliant. One of the finest and most inventive minds that this foundation has seen in a very, very long time. And it is for that reason that I will break you. Not because you need to be punished, not because you will learn, but because there is simply no other option.
Maybe there is. And your syllabus isn't flexible enough to account for that.
I think you will learn over the coming months that I am very adaptable when called upon, and quite inventive in my own right.
Well, I look forward to seeing that, boss.
I would caution you, Mr. Lida. There is a reason why you accepted our offer. Should you fail, should you cease to be of benefit, a worthwhile investment of our time and our energy, your family will stay exactly where they are. And I would caution you to consider and hope that that is all that happens. We have quite the reach.
Well, you know, the point of me taking you seriously has definitely come to a middle.
Enjoy the rest of your contemplation, Mr. Lida.
Yes, Chef.
The door slides shut, once again submerging you into complete darkness. And in that moment, the screen in the phone booth flickers to life. And on the other side of the screen, you see a familiar face, a friendly face, one that is extremely androgynous. They have a certain amount of like gingery stubble on their face, and most of their hair is sort of curly and swept back, and a similar gingery color, except for a section of the top that hangs over one side of their face and one side of their head that is dyed completely black. They most notably also have pointed ears, which are almost completely, almost every inch of real estate, almost every centimeter of real estate is filled with a piercing. Their eyes, similarly, the irises have been dyed a color that matches their hair, the gingery parts of their hair. And their teeth have, like their ears, been surgically modified to come to points, like fangs. And they are wearing just generally a large amount of gold jewelry, most of it depicting a star or a moon in some cases. And you would recognize immediately the face of your frequent contact, the data broker, who only has ever given you the name Starlight.
Hey, Starlight.
Well, hey, Star Runner.
What you got for me?
It's a curious, non-specific kind of job, which I know is your favorite.
Yeah. Okay. As long as the pay is good.
Client wants to remain anonymous, use a pseudonym, so you can expect that they should meet you. They should meet you to discuss business. They gave me a location here, and you see them typing on their holo display, pulling up windows that you can't see because of the nature of the connection. And they say, "The treehouse. Do you know where that is?"
Of course.
Okay, great. Only name I got was Horace.
Horus. Interesting. Ominous. Kind of hot. Okay. Sure.
I think it's a delivery. At least that's the impression that I got. And whether that's goods or people, I don't know. Might be a transport.
Escort mission? Why?
You said you were desperate.
I'd never say that, Starlight.
You didn't say it with your words.
Listen, as long as the pay is good, we'll take it. But
On paper, the pay was good. But I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here, Cassidy.
Well, then what do we have to do to dredge some more work up? What's going on?
I can only give you things when they come to me. And I got other crews.
Okay, but we're your favorite, so what's the problem?
You got me at a bad time. I don't know what to say. Also, I think this is, I'm going to be blunt with you.
Are you breaking up with me?
I think you'd have to commit first.
I mean, okay. When you say commit, what are we talking?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that mean? Yeah, exactly. What does that mean? You're
I'll be
breaking my
blunt.
heart. Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you try to prioritize the legitimate stuff. I don't fault you for it, but it means that other people snatch up the less than legitimate stuff before you.
So you're saying that I have to be the bad guy to get the money?
Depends on your perspective. But people don't come to me because they have legitimate work. They come to me because they need something done under the table.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll do this job. And then once we're done, we can talk about. God, Luna's gonna love this. We can talk about some seedier jobs.
They shrug. They put their hands up and they say, "I'm not telling you how to run your crew.
I know you're not, but
I'm just stating the facts.
Kind of need to make sure that we stay flying. So, I mean, it's not like we're not living on the right side of the law currently. So,
Isn't that why you're trying to stay legitimate? The pay is higher on the other side because the risk is higher. There's more eyes paying attention.
Sure. So we'll toe the line just a little bit more. Just a little bit, just so that we can get paid.
I got you this meeting.
I know. That's why I love you. And I still owe you at least 4 drinks. If you just have to meet me for them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be out your way anytime soon, but
I mean, I can't come to you. I'm so sorry.
if you ever make it to the inner system, you have my number.
I do have your number. Okay. If for some reason we make it out there, sure. But for now, yeah, we'll talk later.
Take care of yourself.
I will. Glad you're not breaking up with me. That would be heartbreaking. I would truly fall apart.
You know, I think you just might. Then the call clicks off.
Oh. So much. Okay. All right. And Cassidy will step out of the phone booth.
And while that was going on, outside of the booth, I imagine kind of standing guard, whether that's obvious or not obvious.
Mm-hmm.
What does Luna look like?
So Luna has bright white hair that is always up, sort of like half in space buns and half down. Bright green eyes, super pale with a little bit of freckling. And normally they look a little bit like you can tell that they're from multiple places. They very much, even in just like street clothes, look a little bit like Tranquility and a little bit like Earth. But because they're out on business, they're also in their Tenebris jacket. The bottom of it has been cut into strips and then tied together, almost like you do when you make those blankets at summer camp. And the sleeves are cuffed up. There's paint and stuff on it. And they are currently and they're kind of like covered in tattoos, not as much as Cassidy is, but sort of intermittently. And their biggest tattoo is a rose dripping in blood that is on like the good chunk of their forearm. And they're currently leaning up against a wall not too far from the phone booth, making sure to watch to make sure no one tries to get too close, waiting for Cassidy to come back out.
And I think as you are standing there, as Cassidy steps into the booth, a couple seconds, maybe a few seconds go by. This is a pretty well-trafficked area of the Buckle, and people are passing you pretty consistently. I imagine Luna's pretty practiced in watching them without watching them, just to make sure that like nobody's paying too much attention. And I think it is because of that that you notice when one individual walking with a couple of other people unmistakably a crew pass you, and then the person walking in the center, clearly the one that's clearly probably the captain, does a double take and doubles back, actually, with clear intent to talk to you. And this person is about 5'9" or 5'10", not very big, but clearly in really good shape. You can see that they're wearing like a kind of a ratty black tank top, but that's underneath a armored jacket, like a jacket that they're wearing open very casually, but you can see the plates that have been grafted onto it and set within it in layers specifically to provide armor. And they have a very deeply tan skin, and a little bit like slightly beyond 5 o'clock shadow, dark black hair that it kind of like comes forward almost into a point, and on one side of their head you can see a really jagged scar that actually like separates their hairline, and a couple of tattoos peeking out. I think you can see maybe the outline of you don't know if it's like a dragon or a snake or something, but it clearly like kind of comes out over one shoulder, and you don't know how far down their arm it goes. But he sees you and doubles back to talk to you.
One, do I recognize them? And two, do they look angry?
You don't recognize him. He does not look angry. He maybe looks amused, but I think in a way where he is gonna start trouble, like you can see that on his face. And he approaches you very friendly, in a very friendly way, but he points to your jacket as he does so and says, is that your ship?
May I ask who wants to know?
Well, if we want to do introductions, sure. And I'll hold out a gloved hand, fingerless gloved hand. My name's Chimera.
Lovely name. Luna.
Lovely name.
Thank you. And yes, this is we got matching jackets, so
It's an interesting ship. I don't know that I've ever seen one like it.
yeah, it's unique for sure. Definitely a acquired taste, I guess you could say.
Military, right?
Used to be.
Who's military?
Beats me. I don't know the whole story behind it. More not a secret, but something some others found and invited me along, we'll say.
How much you want for it?
The ship?
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's not up for sale.
I mean, Luna, come on. We're friends.
Friends is a strong word for someone who just told me their name, but okay.
All right. We're friendly.
I'll give you that one.
But you strike me as somebody who knows everything is for sale. And something about the way he says that. Maybe because of what day it is. He pulls you back to a surprisingly similar scene, I think, to one we've seen before, because you are likewise in the headmaster's office, seated on the other side of his desk. It's almost eerie, the similarities. There's a cup of coffee in front of you. There's a cup of coffee in front of him. You are older than we usually accept students.
Yeah, I've noticed the kiddos in the hall.
It is easier to instill knowledge in the young. Past a certain age, people are, and those icy blue eyes kind of bore right into you when he says, already set in their ways.
I guess you could say that.
I would like for us to have an understanding with each other.
Which is?
There is absolutely nothing about you that qualifies you to be here.
Oh, I'm fully aware.
You are an unimpressive student.
Correct. I'm not here to be your doctor. I'm not here to be your engineer. I'm not here to be your pilot. I'm not here for any of that, honestly. I'm barely here of my own choice.
And I am not here to be your jailer.
Which I appreciate. At the end of the day, Yenshin was the lesser of two evils. If you catch my drift.
I remember your parents. They were worthy of this place.
They were. Apparently they discovered themselves here. Whatever that even means.
Call me an optimist. But I believe it is possible that every student who passes through these doors might discover themselves. That is my calling.
So you think you can rehabilitate the thief, arsonist, continue my rap sheet? It's a lot of hope for one person, you know?
It's not a question of my ability. It's a question of your value.
You are not the first person to say that to me.
I do think that there is an opportunity here that you could perhaps bring something of value to this place.
If you have any ideas, I am all ears, because right now I am, and like you said, I'm not the best student. I'm really good at French. Don't ask me why. But outside of that, I'm your average kid, not anywhere near any of your geniuses. And trust me, they let me know. So
We are tasked with developing a future generation of leaders, people to shape the worlds and what might come after. But we can only do so much. We are somewhat hindered by our very nature as an institution of tranquility.
And do you think I fix part of that because I am from here, but also not from here?
I think that it can be difficult to avoid a knife if you've never seen one before.
You know, if I have to teach your rich kids how to not get swindled, I deserve faculty pay.
But isn't that exactly why you are here? I believe that you have run out of what it is you deserve.
Like I said, lesser of two evils, you know? You run away from one thing and run into another.
So, in the spirit of our arrangement, I have no expectations for you. No
Refreshing to hear.
expectations as far as your studies are concerned, as far as your performance. I expect you to adhere to the letter of the behavioral code of the Foundation. But beyond that, I think you should do what you do best.
Noted. I will teach your geniuses to maybe have some common sense. Because it does seem like they're lacking it a lot of the time. No offense, some of them are great. Don't worry about it. But also, I did trick a kid in the hallway to think that there's a pool somewhere on property. There's not a pool here, but you know that.
No, there's not. You and I both know that, unfailingly, tranquility is utopia, or the closest thing that mankind has ever managed to achieve. We don't use money here. There's no need. And as such, these children have a poor understanding of transaction.
Yeah, you
They
could say it
believe.
was a rude awakening on Earth.
And you benefit from that perspective. They believe that the entire system will be handed to them once they complete their education year. But you and I both know that that will not be the case. Because the reality of the world, beyond these gates, beyond this world, this planet, is that everything is for sale. And I think you are pulled out of that memory. You see Kimura standing there in front of you, kind of looks a little confused. You don't know how long you've been zoning out for, but the door to the phone booth slides open. And Cassidy steps out. Cassidy, you step out and you see Luna talking to this man with a couple of other people dressed similarly to him, kind of hanging back a little ways, watching.
Okay. Gotcha.
Apologies for spacing out for a second there. You just remind me of somebody I used to know. But still, ship's not for sale. And even if it was, I would not be the one to make that decision. I got a crew
What
to
about
think about.
what about for sale?
My lovely new acquaintance here was wondering about the ship.
Oh, yeah. Like they said, not for sale. You have a good day. Like the jacket, though. It's nice. And
Wow. That's disappointing, but hey, what can you do about it?
just because I'm curious, what was your starting bid?
I never
Didn't
even
have
made it.
one.
Oh, you didn't have one? You didn't start one? Okay. I mean, well, since
Asked
we're
me
here.
for, the price first.
Oh, no. That's not how
Yeah.
this works. Starting offer.
I think you've made it quite clear that it means a lot to you. And, I know when I'm beating my head against a wall, right?
Well, I mean, not quite. It's generally a lot more sticky.
Remember when I said I'm not the one to make this decision? Welcome. Hello. Meet the one that does make that decision.
Right. I got the impression you're the captain of that vessel.
Cassidy Star Runner. You are?
Kimura. My name's Kimura.
Nice. Well, anyway, we have a date.
We do.
Lou. It was nice to meet you.
Got a real, he says to you, and you don't know what he is referring to.
Mm-hmm.
You got a real beauty on your ends. I'll be lying if I wasn't a little jealous.
Lou or the ship? You're right in both counts, but...
Well, thank you.
You take care, Cassidy Star Runner. It's a dangerous system out there.
Well, don't we know it?
He'll turn and he'll walk back over to his friends.
Just gonna watch him go.
Mm-hmm.
No ass at all. Unfortunate.
It's true.
Yeah.
And you should say it.
Just going straight from back to legs. Wow.
Yeah.
Like you said,
okay.
You have a date.
We sure do. Luna, when you get a chance, you want to see what you can find out about him?
Yeah, I got him.
Fantastic. After the date, it's real hush hush. Starlight is scraping the bottom of the barrel. We are going. No, go ahead.
Is it illegal shit? Cassidy, tell me it's illegal shit. I miss illegal shit.
Not this one. This one is above the board. However,
you don't know that this is above the board.
Shh, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's real secret shit, if that helps.
Okay, that does help a little bit. It helps a little bit.
Right. And I told Starlight to see what other projects she might have for us. Even some of the more nefarious sorts.
Oh, Cassidy, you're going to let me do illegal shit again. I knew you were one of my best friends.
Listen, we're riding dirty, okay?
I'm aware.
So,
I'm really good at it if you don't remember. I've been on the up and up for a long time now.
I know, and I'm so
longest
proud
I've
of
ever
you.
been. Thank you.
I know you've got that itch, but we have a sweet baby boy to worry about.
And as you are having this conversation and walking towards the treehouse, I think you actually hear a voice bark out from ahead of you.
Mm.
Cassidy Star Runner.
Oh.
You didn't think you'd be able to stay away from me forever.
Who? Who dis? Who dis? Who dis?
You look ahead. They were loud. This voice was loud enough that people have stopped and are like watching now, are waiting to see if somebody's going to get shot, because that's not unusual here on the buckle. But you recognize the person striding towards you, kind of like shoving people out of her way as she comes towards you. She is about 6 feet tall, roughly. Real muscly, real strong. She has her head is almost completely shaved down to like a buzz cut. Her hair is this sort of auburn color, closer to brown, with just a couple of like longer bang pieces kind of framing her face in the front. She has bright red lipstick on and is wearing sort of like a red half jacket over the top half that kind of just barely contains her shoulders, and a scar across her nose, as well as one red cybernetic eye that kind of apertures as she starts making her way over to you. And you would recognize a bounty hunter of some passing familiarity for you and the crew of the Tenebris, Becker Rhine.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, I didn't. Did I leave her last time? I don't think so.
Are you asking me?
No, yeah, you know better than me, Jenny. Bex, hey. Hey.
You got a lot of balls showing your face around here.
What did I do? What did I do this time?
What did you do?
Yeah, what did I do?
What did you do?
I mean, what didn't I do? But also, what did I do?
And she like gets down into your face.
Oh, that's uncalled for. There's also just like a on the nose. A little.
I'll tell you what you did.
Uh-huh.
Nothing, but you should have seen your face, you motherfucker.
You can't do that. You know, I was so obliterated last time I was here. Well, no, if you'd have done it, you just shot me way over there. I'm actually more afraid of your. Yeah, I'm also more afraid of your fists, for being honest. So you see this jaw? Can't lose that. So
no.
Hey, don't ever scare me like that again.
Jaws, not to insult you, but
hey, no, I get it.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
where's that pretty little chips doctor of yours?
Are you still on that?
Cassidy, out here, you don't meet a lot of men of refined taste.
Yeah, and if you happen to get your hands on him, no one ever would ever again.
Well, I'm not going to if he keeps hiding from me.
Okay, well, I'm not saying that I know where he is, but he does love a good coffee.
Do with that what you will, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, listen, just bring him back to us in at least 3 pieces. In at least 3. I can weld, JoJo can weld 3 pieces.
There you go.
Any more than that, and we're out of doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think I'm gonna do to him. I'm a lady.
You're just a lady that's like could squish him. You could squish him.
Okay.
I could.
Listen.
I could. Easily.
I flirt. I know you could. That's what we're saying. Listen, yes. I flirt with him and turn him as red as his hair. You would end him.
Mm-hmm.
So just, at least look at that. Look at that face that you're making. Look at that face.
Mm-hmm.
You're so.
What face?
You are thinking of all of the ways that you could destroy him.
I
And this is why we're
was
friends.
thinking about a lot of things.
Oh, okay. Like you'd want to take a long walk around
Lady
the buckle.
doesn't tell.
Oh, okay. No, but he might.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He likes to have some him time and get a coffee somewhere on the buckle. And he is a creature of habit.
Not much for trying new coffee places, you know.
Mhm.
No.
You know, I understand. What does he do there? Like,
The coffee shop?
does he like read or maybe write
I mean,
poetry
I don't go.
or
What is happening?
I don't go with him to the coffee shop. I assume he does something, either that or he sits there and stares into space, which is a little sad, but I don't also put that past him.
Is this
I
a
don't think so.
wistful? Is this a wistful sigh that I see
Yes.
here?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
I mean, a man like that with so much going on upstairs, there's no chance he just sits and stares.
I have never heard of somebody say, with all that going on upstairs, that is not what people are normally paying attention to. Good on you. No, it's
You
not
know
an
what?
insult. It's just an observation.
You can't
That's-
look at a man like that and say, that man has never composed a sonnet.
I mean, not that I have seen nor heard one, but I do fully believe you in your logic there.
Luna, you ready?
Yeah.
Bex, he was positively glowing when we got to the haikus.
She's like, she fans herself.
Okay, so I don't know what he's doing right now. Why don't you go and find out?
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
I encourage you.
I feel
Well,
like I
maybe-
shouldn't, but I have to. I'm
Yeah.
obligated to.
As much as we don't we cohabitate the ship, but also I still want him to be happy, I think. So go for it. Live your best life.
Look, the Seville is here until we pick up another contract. So I'm going to be around. And
Okay.
if you see him, just let him know I'm here.
Okay. Oh, so you want him to come to you?
Huh?
That's what I'm getting. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to make sure because
Are
we
you,
offered.
Implying I'm not worth chasing?
No.
Okay. All right. So
I'm not implying that at all. Honestly,
you're
I
taking
totally
this
get why you're
personally?
worth chasing.
You're taking this personally, and that's not necessary. That's not what I said at all. I just wanted to make sure we knew what the parameters were. I will be sure to tell you know what? I'll ask him right now. I'm just gonna
Yeah, I mean, so you can reach him on your transcoms, which are the little earbud type things that you all have that also translate.
Mm-hmm. Dickie, my
So-
boy.
Dickie it's still sitting at his table in the coffee shop.
What's he doing there?
Coffee. He's got a book, a blank journal open, and he is indeed writing in it. And he is indeed writing a poem. It is called Bex, and it goes: bruised flesh, heart's blood spreading wide, sharp sting of pain, dull ache of longing, twin fists of fury, blazing equal my inner fire. Touch me, break me, bruise me, take me.
Break me! Oh my god.
Do not come out here with some improv poetry. How dare you?
And he's just put the finishing period on break me. And yes, Cassidy, is that you?
Yes, of course. Who else would it be? Dickie,
Good
what
question.
you doing?
I'm And he closes the book as though Cassidy could somehow see it through his earpieces. I'm just at the coffee shop. If you need me, I can settle up and be right there.
I mean,
Becker
maybe.
says to you very quietly, like barely more than a whisper, "Don't make me seem desperate."
Oh no! Hey, no, we just ran into Bax.
Yeah. Is she angry or
no?
good?
She's doing very well.
Good. That's good.
You want to come say hi?
No.
Why not?
Nope.
What was that? Yes, you do. That sounded like a yes that you tried to hide as a no.
Is it? That was a strong no, I thought.
Oh, was it?
Can I also hear this?
I don't think so, unless it's a group like
If it's a please
channel,
let it be a
basically.
group.
Absolutely, absolutely group
Goes
chat.
to everyone,
I mean-
everyone on the ship.
So transcoms work very similarly to smartphones, in so much that if you call multiple people, you are on a call with multiple people, but otherwise it's direct.
Oh no! I accidentally hit the call all button. That's weird.
Come on,
yeah.
live a little, my guy. That no was strong is not the word I would have used for that no. First of all,
It was
but
pretty
second,
strong no.
No, that was a questionable no at best.
Okay, well,
but
okay.
I hope the best for you, and I think you should hit her up.
Is she armed? I mean, apart from like her arms.
Yeah, she definitely is. She definitely has like a machete strapped to one thigh, and then on the other side, like a sawed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just that you remember one of the last times that we were all together, I ended up having to sew your buttocks back together.
Yeah, and it got better thanks to you.
Yeah.
And alcohol. So appreciate it.
Okay.
While
Listen,
I would love a repeat, we have a date to be at.
I would not love a repeat, honestly.
Is he talking about the time I shot you in the ass?
Yeah. Yeah. He sure is. Thinking of it fondly, I think. So hey, Dickie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have to go to the meeting, but hey, Bex is going to be here for a little bit until they get a new contract. So maybe you should swing by, come say hello. I hear she likes poetry.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Where is she?
She is. We are.
She's actually gonna look kind of apologetically at you and pull out her own handheld and glance down at it, and she's gonna say, "Actually, I'm late."
You're late. Late for what?
A thing. It's not important. But
what the fuck is that? Okay, well,
it's just
listen.
business.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the last time we talked about business? I shot you in the ass,
and that was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Well, at least I hadn't asked to shoot. Am I right, Lou? Yeah. Okay, well,
good luck with
busy.
your thing.
Thanks. Good luck with yours. Should I have Pretty Boy come see you?
Oh yeah, I mean I'll be here. You know, this isn't a new contract, so
okay,
I'll be around. And just like be cool about it. Like honestly, it's just that when you kill a grown man with your bare hands, people start thinking you should do the pursuing, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I feel that.
Gotcha. Hey, just
been there.
Unrelated question. What's your favorite kind of flowers?
Roses.
Of course it is.
Just
like you. All right, cool. Fantastic. All right, well, you have fun with your thing, and we're gonna go do our thing, and I'm just gonna take Lou by the arm, and we're gonna walk very calmly.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna play matchmaker, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Dickie.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is this
She
call
likes
still going on?
roses. Oh, it sure is.
Oh,
She likes roses.
I mean, who doesn't like roses?
I don't like roses.
I thought you were romantic, Cassidy.
I am a romantic. Not a romance has to be roses.
Yeah. I have
They
a
are-
complicated relationship with roses personally, but they can be good.
And I think around this time, you're probably reaching the treehouse.
Mhm.
So I think it's one of those things where you're like on the transcoms talking to each other, and then you start actually hearing each other's voices as you kind of like round the corner of the station, and you find yourself standing outside of that open sort of shipping container. And as you do that, you notice that sure, Dickie's in there. There are quite a few people in there at this point, but you would also notice, I think, that there is a pair of men who look pretty out of place in here. You've seen a lot of people on the buckle dressed like they spend the majority of their time out here in the empty, out beyond like Mars and the in the Stygian belt even. People whose clothes are ripped. There's usually some degree of dirty. And these two men, one of whom is much like smaller and slighter than the other. The one man who's the larger man clearly has some type of military experience, maybe. Hard to say, but the way he carries himself and the way he's built, he has very like broad, plain features, but his eyes are kind of like always moving, always scanning. Not in a subtle way, very much the way that like a soldier does. Not in the way that somebody who's used to doing crimes does. But the other man, smaller, slighter, very pale skin in the sense that he has clearly never like worked a day in his life. Hair that's very it's blondish, a little bit on the longer side, although it has been recently cut. You can tell, and neither one of them are dirty enough. Like their clothes kind of fit in, but it's in a way that looks very intentional. They stand out.
We were given a code name.
Horus.
Horus. Yes, I'm sorry. I remembered.
Got it.
I was about to say,
Sorry.
Have you met Ted? I was like, wait, no, there's actually a name. So I will approach the table.
Okay.
Or
the larger man like looks up and sees you approaching, and you can see he immediately tenses. His hand goes under the table.
Easy there. I'm gonna look to the smaller man. Are you Horace?
I am Horace.
Great. And we're here to discuss business.
He looks nervous, but he gestures and says, "Take a seat. You and your associate. Dickie, are you joining your captain and Luna, or are you staying at your own table?"
I think when he notices Cassidy and Luna, he would feel obligated to join.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just
So he would
just
sort
a
of
hand of.
He would be uncomfortably hovering behind.
There's casually sitting.
And yeah, as you do that, the big man kind of relaxes a little bit. It helps that Horace kind of like puts a hand out towards him and gestures for him to unwind, essentially untense. You're from the Tenebris?
I am captain of.
Sorry, I was maybe misinformed. I was told your captain was a woman of startlingly long name.
Do you remember the name?
I could not begin to remember. the name.
That's just the owner of the ship. I'm the captain.
I see. That makes sense then. And you know my name, so
Absolutely. So, I've heard anonymity, discretion. I would like to know the matter of the job, if not the subject.
I suppose you might call it retrieval. Like transport, but I'd need you to pick someone up and bring them to a location. A distant location.
How distant?
Mars.
Mars.
There's a settlement, the largest settlement, Independence.
Interesting.
I'm aware of what it would cost. You'd be well compensated.
Good. Half up front?
He looks kind of unsure of himself. And the big man kind of like bristles a little bit and says, 1/4.
Fuel is expensive.
And that's a long trip.
Starlight told me that you were a man of your word. I asked specifically for someone who would understand the importance of this. This person is very dear to me.
Okay. Do they know you're coming?
No, and I can't go.
So part of the job is convincing them to come with us.
I
Yeah.
don't think they will take much convincing, but part of the job will be rescuing them.
Rescuing.
Got it.
So this isn't merely a retrieval. This is a rescue mission.
Well, I did say extraction. Yes. I understand if you won't take the job.
Half up front.
He nods slowly.
Okay. What's their name?
Yeah.
What can I call them?
Delilah.
Okay.
Have you... Excuse me for asking. Have you been to Tranquility before?
Yes, we're very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And he opens his mouth, ready to say something else, when suddenly you hear the sound of a gun being fired.
Hmm.
And you look... What's up?
No. Sorry, go ahead.
You look over, and people are like diving for cover and like running out of the cafe, mostly diving for cover because normally when gunfights break out on the Buckle, you just shelter in place and then wait for it to be over and hope that you're not the one being shot at. But in this particular instance, you look up from the table where you are sitting, and you, both of you, and Dickie, I would imagine as well, although Dickie may have been one of those people diving for cover, see standing there Becker Rhine.
Knew it.
With that sawed off in her hand pointed directly up at the ceiling in what was clearly unmistakably a warning shot.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at you sitting around the table and looks at the two people sitting at the table with you and gets kind of a tired look on her face and says, "Oh,
Please
hell,
no.
Cassidy, we're not going after the same bounty, are we?"
Are you kidding me?
Technically, don't you have to be offered the job? We just accepted the job, Becker.
What job?
We had a job. You had a job. This is your job.
Oh, come on.
What did you do? I'm looking back at Horace. What did you do?
Nevin Westcott. She points at Horace.
Who? Okay, do we know that name?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything to you. Doesn't.
Okay.
And Becker goes on and says, "It doesn't mean anything to me either, but it's worth a lot of money. Someone wants him alive, though. Otherwise, I would have just, killed him."
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
All right. Hey, can you give me like 5?
Yeah, for real. And then you can do, it's not a problem anymore.
5.
And she thinks about it for a second. And she glances over and she says, "Oh, hey, Richard."
I think he's like coming up from behind a table. It's just like,
I motioned to Dickie to like keep it going, and then I look at Cassidy and go, "Okay, we got 10."
She says, "It's really nice to see you."
yeah.
And then she redirects her gaze suddenly back to business, back
Wait,
to
can I
Cassidy.
buy you a coffee?
And she kind of slaps the sawed off into the other hand and says, "I'm sorry."
You give us 5. Take
Hey,
the
you
coffee.
need him alive. Take the
Yeah.
coffee. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
This is important.
She
You're
is going to
between
point.
them and the door.
She's going to point the gun. She's going to point the gun square at you, Cassidy, and she is going to say, "I really can't. You
He's
understand?"
slipping through his book and comes to a poem. And he just starts reciting, "The red rose of Seville, my heart and longing."
Without directing her gaze away, she holds up one hand in Dickie's direction and she says, "Richard,
Yeah.
you are my sweet little flower. This is not the time."
I'm so sorry. And then he just ducks back down.
And the other hand is the gun pointed square at you. And she says, "Listen, Cassidy, I'm sorry. But you understand. It's just business."
Listen. I don't want to have to shoot her, but by damn it, I will. And I shoot the.
You can try to do a lot of things.
Okay, I want to.
Next time.
No, don't
on
do this to me.
Nephilim Tenebris.
No.
You
No.
bastard. You absolute bastard.
You rat bastard.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It is 11:17. We went a little bit over. It's a premiere. I feel like that's to be expected. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and for everybody in the cast for playing this game. And I had a lot of fun. I don't know about anybody else, but I think only good things are happening, and only good things await the crew of the Tenebris out here on the Buckle. Yeah. So with that in mind, I think we'll go ahead and just quickly run through. I mean, it doesn't have to be quick. We're doing fine on time, but we'll run through our outroductions, which is the thing where we plug stuff and we talk about what we have going on if you want to talk about anything. So I will say in the same order, Alex, if you don't mind, what's up?
I don't mind. Hi, I'm Alex. I've been Dicky. As I said, I've been living in an internet cave recently. I don't have a lot going on. I'm slowly coming back out of my hibernation. But one thing I would like to plug, as you may have noticed, I've been drinking from my very nice Street Wolves
Yes.
mug, which is currently
Hell yeah.
running a Kickstarter. Has already smashed goals, but PV and Street Wolves is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite systems. I love Savage Worlds. I love the retro futuristic synth wave of the 80s that he's got going on with Street Wolves. It's been my pleasure to play test it. I've always had a fantastic time. Love the game, love the maker. The system is beautiful, the art is great, and he's just racking up some goals to get more art, more adventures written by some lovely people that I know, and would love for you to support them if you have the time, funds, and inclination. But that's all I've got. Go check out Street Wolves on Kickstarter. Do it now.
It's true. It's true. Some very excellent, wonderful people that you've seen on this channel before, even if you can imagine that. Eli.
Hello, my name is Eli. I am the resident ghost of Mayday Roleplay. We are a AP content creation team making a bunch of awesome stuff always and whatnot. You can check our general schedule. We'll be playing some Orpheus sometime this month, as well as our release of our Delta Green podcast, Doomed to Repeat. We also are doing maybe something with Street Wolves. That will be kind of something that will also be because of goals being smashed and stuff like that. So yeah, just hover around Mayday Roleplay. And then when I'm not doing Mayday, I am just around the space doing a bunch of other shenanigans like making games and all sorts of stuff. So you can follow me at a Ghost to Eli or Mayday Roleplay.
And Mallory.
Hi. So, the things that are up with me. I am the new external producer for Unbalanced Encounters, which is over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff. They're in the middle of Arc 4. I'm super excited because I'm going to help with a bunch of stuff that has to do with Season 2, which is going to come out next year. So that's really exciting. I have been designing new games and things like that, which you can get over on my ish.io page. I'm the newest colorist for Southtown Comics. So that's been super exciting getting to work on my first issue. I've come in on issue 2, and so I'm working on that. And my big game announcements actually haven't been made yet, but will be made by the time we do the next episode of this show. So I'll be able to talk about it then. But yeah, that's my life right now. A lot of secrets that I'm just now starting to be able to tell. So. Well, you're muted.
Oh, you're
You're
muted.
muted as hell.
Right. Said, hell yeah, that's good stuff. That's cool. Listen up for next time. That's it. Nothing important, you know.
Yeah, no, sure. Just the important stuff. Hi, I'm Q. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet at Midnight Inc. That's Midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. I am on Things and Also Stuff, you son of a bitch.
Didn't do anything.
You sure did. You absolutely did. You know you did. Anyway, so you can find me all over the place. I am over on Entropy Emporium on alternating Tuesdays, playing the Masks horror game called They Call Us Villains. Thursdays, not this one, but the next, Redacted here on Live from the Apocalypse. Sundays, I am over at RPGs Uncovered, playing Star Crier, which is a Lancer game. And then, well, can I say it? For Saturday? Can I say it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay. So for Saturdays, alternating Saturdays, I will be joining the cast full time for a class reunion.
Yay!
Yeah. Kira's gonna be sticking around. It's gonna be a good time. Unless it's not, we'll see. And let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? I have a bunch of home games that I play in, so I never know what is what or when. I've got a couple of projects, still in the works. So just keep an eye out. You'll see them everywhere. Also, I did a thing. I'm still proud of it, so I'm going to still probably. I did a thing. You can find Body and Soul soundtrack to see forever too on the Chaotic Wholesome Presents YouTube. So yeah, go see that.
Never shut up about it. It's
I'll
very
never
good.
shut up about it. Thank you so much.
Right, and Rose.
Howdy, I'm Rose. I was JoJo this evening. I'm new to the actual play screen space, but I am the queen of home games. Catch me here on Tenebris. You can also find me on Instagram at Rose from the Grave, all underscores. Don't have too much to shout out, so all I can say is thanks for donating, and check out your local Punks with Lunch chapter. They can always use help there. So if you're in South Philly, check out Punks with Lunch. Do your own mutual aid.
True.
That's me.
Absolutely true. And hello. Hi, my name is Will. I ran this game. I'm one of the storytellers and the organizers here at Live from the Apocalypse. I do a bunch of things, and I have a bunch of stuff coming up. I think actually this was the big thing for this month. There's a bunch of stuff that's starting up next month, but this was the big one for April. So tomorrow, I would say that there is a 60% chance that we record the finale of Cryptic Community College Season 2 live back here at Live from the Apocalypse, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our Monster of the Week actual play podcast. People are talking about not feeling well, so we'll see what happens. But there's a 60% chance, maybe. I don't know. Keep an eye on social media and stuff like that. Other than that, this coming Sunday, there will be we'll be recording some new episodes of Academy H, our Masks actual play podcast, which is still in Audioverse Award limbo as finalists. I don't know, we're finalists for 4 awards, and until they announce the winners, we haven't lost, I guess. So there's that. So yeah, there's that. We'll be recording new episodes of that. There should be a new episode out this Sunday as well of the podcast form of the same show. There was a new one out last Sunday. It's good. You should listen to it. And also before that, we did an interlude story with the Fist System by Claymore RPGs. That was a lot of fun, especially if you like horrible spider aliens that live inside of people's bodies and control them, and flesh monsters. And that's all I'll say about that. I think that's most of the things I have to talk about. Next month is going to be very exciting. Finally, for the 3rd time, I have a full cast for the next Horizons and Halcyons game. Things keep changing, things keep happening, but we're locked in again. Hopefully it happens this time. May, we're going to be recording with Apocalypse Keys. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great table. It's going to be a very good time. Just cross your fingers, I guess, at this point. We started planning this back in February, so we're doing great. And yeah, I think that's it. Class reunion every other Saturday morning. That'll be, yeah, what's up? Huh? Yeah, hello? Yeah.
I don't know if either of us, did you say a season of Secrets and Shadows?
No, didn't say that. Should have said that.
I also forgot. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't.
It just
we
feels
can't
like
claim.
it's forever until we get to play. On the 18th, you can catch Q and I at the Friday table, the 19th, I guess, the Friday
19th,
table of a season of Secrets and Shadows, the 3rd season, our Monster Hearts Regency era actual play, which is a lot of fun. It's gonna be a good time. Check it out. The Saturday table has already played. I think they're playing again on Saturday. I don't know. Who cares about that table? Friday table, the 19th. Check it out. I think that's it. This is very sloppy. I'm so sorry. Normally we're more together than this.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Thank you. Thank you. With all that being said, with all that out of the way, you can follow everybody on social media. Oh, everything everybody talked about is down. If you scroll down in the about section of the website, there's a thing for each game. Everybody's links and shit are there if you want to find them. All of that being said, except for Street Wolves, Google Street Wolves. All that being said, you can follow us on social media if you want to know more about what we're up to, or you can join the Discord community, which is a great place full of great people, and we would love to have you be a part of it. With all that being said, I think we're going to call it a night here. We're going to raid Jess the Human. Our friend Jess the Human is doing a March of Dimes charity stream of Daggerheart with some very cool people. So we're going to hop over there, say hi, be friendly, check it out, donate if you can, of course, but if not, no worries, just enjoy the game. Anyway, on that note, we'll see you in 2 weeks Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night,
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
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 See you in the stars.
Good night.